Yo, Nakama, how is it going? It is your boy Cozy coming at you with our first deck tech video in the official OP16 format. I wanted to start with my main deck that I probably would say, one, I've been the most excited for. Two, I've already made a kind of speculation deck tech video on him, and now we're kind of just gonna show what I finalized like I promised in the first deck tech and get our series rolling of OP whatever meta we're in leader deck techs, so we can share out the information to the world of like why a certain list works a certain way, why I choose to put cards in a deck this way, what works for me, what wouldn't work, things like that we're gonna be explaining throughout the entire video. Essentially, when it comes to Sengoku, his leader effect is just super strong, in my opinion, for a combo deck. His activate main is we send 8 active Dawn back to the Dawn deck, and then we can play up to 3 Admiral-type characters with different names from our hand, which only right now we have the original 3 from One Piece, which is going to be Sakazuki, Kuzan, and Borsalino. That does open the door for like Green Bull. It opens the door for potentially using Admirals of the past and things like Kong or any sort of way that way. We may even see a Sengoku Admiral before he became, Admiral of the Grand Fleet. Like, there's so many possibilities that come from this leader, and purple is just a really great color, in my opinion. I'm a purple main, like through and through at this point, but enough of the kind of introduction stuff. How the deck tech's gonna work, like we always do it. We're gonna start with our 2Ks. We're gonna look at the characters that we're playing, events, and stages if we do run any. And so let's go ahead and hop straight into our 2K list. Excelente. Let's get our 2K list out of the way. So first, we are only running 8 2Ks in the list. I felt it was okay for this list because we have so many other things that we can work on. But starting off, I am running 4 copies of Suru with the on-play of looking at the top 5 cards, reveal a Navy type card, add it to the hand, place the rest of the bottom of the deck, then we trash 1 card. So good for hand filtering, things like that. If I don't see the other searchers that we run in the deck to find stuff, Suru is a great option for us to do so. Ideally not the best searcher to use because we have to trash 1 from hand to kind of do a hand fix, but great 2K counter just to have in lieu of not having our other 2K option, which we more so want to play, which is 4 copies of Sengoku from OP16. 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, great body to have on board just to put some pressure on. His on play is that if our leader's the Navy type, which he is, we get to add 2 Dawn from our Dawn deck is rested, then we draw 2 cards and then trash 2 cards. So again, another hand filtering character, but this one ramps us 2 more Dawn. So depending on what Dawn we're at that we can play him, whether it's the 5 or the 6 Dawn curve, we're going to be ready to use leader ability the turn after we play him. Always 100% guaranteed. So that's the main reason why I have him in the deck and why I appreciate playing a Sengoku down and then using the rest as 2K counters just to get that initial ramp off, or if I need to put the ramp in after we do leader effect to really start moving the board along and putting additional pressure on the board. For characters, I'm starting with 4 copies of the Kobe Searcher from OP16. 1 cost, 2K power, 1K counter. On play, we look at the top 5 cards of the deck, reveal a Navy type card other than Kobe, add it to the hand, and then we put the rest at the bottom of any order. Standard searcher, just like the Suru that we have, it's just we don't trash a card from our hand to replace it. So Kobe is just a really good to play out early. It's really good to play into like small body stuff. So like into Purple and L, we want to play this. Things that run searchers, so like the Jewelry Bonnie in Green Mihawk, or the characters that would generally swing like Blackbeard when they swing for pressure or whatever the case is, they put Dawn under something to swing to force a KO effect. We can just use Kobe to clean that up. Next, I run 4 copies of Don Quixote Rocinante from OP16. He is a 2 cost, 1K power, 1K counter blocker With the on-play effect of arresting 2 additional Dawn, and then we can ramp 1 Dawn as arrested if our leader is the Navy type, which he is. Really good blocker to see on turn 4 to set us up for turn 4, our 4 Dawn turn. We go 4, rest 1 to get to 5. Next turn we have 7. We can play Sengoku, we can just play an Admiral from hand. Whatever the case is, Rosinante sets us up in that regard, just that way we can ramp a Dawn earlier if we need to. But it's, again, not the end of the world if we don't see it. And it's just a really good blocker to have, a little chump blocker, especially to kind of help in the mid game, kind of push ourselves to getting more blockers in the end game. Next, running 4 copies of Monkey D Garp from OP16, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, with the on-play of if our leader is the Navy type, which he is, we can add 1 Dawn rested and 1 Dawn as active from the Dawn deck. So again, same thing like Sengoku, just a little bit different. We don't get the draw power that Sengoku has, so instead we get an additional Dawn that we could potentially use as a searcher, Dawn to put under a character or a leader to swing with, the Dawn up to potentially do whatever we want with it. But the double ramp is really good because it does the same thing as Sengoku does. It's going to allow us to go from our 5 to 7 Dawn in that turn, and then next turn we go to 9, which we can then use leader effect and really take advantage of the Admirals in our hand. Speaking of the Admirals, let's go ahead and get started with them. We're running 4 copies of Sakazuki, 4 copies of Kuzan, and 4 copies of Borsalino. I felt we needed to see all of them at some point. There are some lists that we're running like 3 copies of Kuzan and Borsalino, but I feel for the consistency portion of the deck, I think running 4 of them is perfectly fine because I could potentially toss them to things like Suru or other draw power engines, Sengoku, Stage, things like that. If we don't need them necessarily. Sakazuki I very rarely will ever discard because he is just so valuable on board. And to start off with, the Sakazuki on play is we Dawn -1, give a character minus 6,000 power till the end of their next turn. So ultimately, like, we can get rid of a pesky attacker or minus down something super crazy and use like an event in the future. We'll talk about the combo for it here in just a minute, to really cripple the opponent before we start using all of the Admirals to attack. So in addition, his activate main is once per turn we can rest 1 Dawn to get 2 Dawn as active, so a really good ramp card to have and just to see, which makes Sakazuki probably one of the more stapled purple cards that you can play in pretty much everything but an L. If you're playing a purple deck, I would not be surprised if I did not see a Sakazuki in the list. Additionally, with Kuzan next, he is also a 7 cost, 8,000 power brick in hand, but on play, we can move 2 Dawn from the Dawn deck as rested. His activate main is a Dawn -1 ability that up to one of our opponent's characters cannot activate blocker during this turn. So good, really good shutdown for like hyper defensive decks like Ace, like Nami, like Blackbeard, and both Blackbeards actually. So if they have a blocker on board, you just use the Kuzan effect to just say, hey, you're not blocking this turn, and now I'm just gonna probably either push for lethal, I'm gonna clean your board out, whatever the case is, Kuzan's going to kind of start facilitating that role a lot more effective. Then lastly, we have Borsalino, whose on-play effect as a 7 cost, 8,000 power body is to ramp 1 Dawn as rested and 1 Dawn as active from the Dawn deck. And then his end of turn effect is that we can Dawn -2, restand him, and make him a blocker till the end of our opponent's turn. So really good to kind of just swing out with the Borsalino, use the end of turn effect to restand him and push for a blocker. Just that way we can survive an additional turn, things like that. Like ideally, what I would like to see is like 2 Kuzan, or 2 Sakazuki, a Kuzan, and 2 Borsalino as my end board. If I was looking to be a little bit more defensive, or we can go 2, 2, and 1, just so that way you can see where necessarily it's at. In terms of how to utilize them in this particular deck, what I would say is if you are going first and you end on your 9 Dawn, you're going to activate leader effect. have 1 Dawn active remaining, play all 3 of them out. Does not matter which order you do these 2 in, Sakazuki will always be last. So Borsalino, Kuzan, Borsalino, does not matter. Get those Dawn back. So we go from 1 active to Borsalino effect to having 2 active, 1 rested. Then we're going to go to Kuzan to have 2 active, 3 rested. And then Sakazuki's going to Dawn -1. So we'll have 3 active, 2 rested to -6k something. Using his activate main, we go to 2 active, 3 rested, to then go to 4 active, 3 rested. So we're at 7 Dawn. A lot of math. It is a whole lot of math, I know. But hey, looking at this sets us up literally to play Sengoku effect again. If we really, really wanted to, or we could set up to have the other Admiral that we have in hand if we get it, to next turn play it and continue to gain value and generation after that. Because ideally we want to ramp and search for all of the Admiral pieces, play the Admirals, and just keep kind of rotating them in and out to really push forward for the win. While we're doing that, looking at the counter events and normal events that we have, starting with 4 copies of Mamaragan, I feel this card is really, really good, especially in the early game. It gives us a 1k, and if we have 6 or less Dawn, which in a lot of cases the Sengoku effect may put us there, or as we're ramping to get to our 8 Dawn active to use leader effect, Mamaragan's really good because at 6 Dawn or less, we can draw a card plus 1000 power. So it kind of helps us cycle through the deck a little bit quicker too. Probably an underrated event in my initial thought process, but looking at how well it does now, I need to have a 4 of the Buddha Sengoku search event. It allows us to look at the top 5 cards, grab 2 Navy-type cards, and then we trash 1 card from our hand. So it replaces itself and gets us an additional card. Ideally, like what would be really great is if we Buddha Sengoku, find 2 of the Admirals that we're missing, and then leader effect to play them out. Really, really strong in this deck, honestly. Like, I don't know where my life would be without the Buddha Sengoku event. Additionally, I run 4 copies of the 3 Admirals. It's a dual mode kind of event. It has an activate main of playing the 1 Dawn, then you may rest 3 additional Dawn to give up to 3 of our Admiral-type characters, plus 2000 power for the turn. So for 4 Dawn, we're getting 2, 4, 6 Dawn worth of strength and power that we can really just start pushing forward with. Additionally, what you could do is if you played 2 of them, so that would be 8 Dawn to rest, Kuzan effect to minus the Dawn, do a couple of other things using Sakazuki to get those 2 Dawn back. So in an ideal world, you would be swinging 12, 13, 13 and minusing one of their blockers. Like, that's in an ideal world for a really strong endgame board, and usually would mean lethal depending on the situation. For my cozy spice, you know, I like to have a little bit of spice every once in a while, and I was really considering it in the first iteration. I'm running 2 copies of Slow Beam as kind of more of a preference thing. It's a 2-cost event, counter event, that will Dawn -1. We give our leader or character plus 2000 power, and then rest one of our opponent's characters. Super easy. It's got a trigger to help us ramp a Dawn too if we really need it. Not really gonna need it. I'd much rather hold it in hand and use it to like rest a big blocker that they have, or do any particular thing that's going to kind of give us the advantage to win the game. Additionally, with 3 Admirals, it's a 4k counter for if we have any Admirals on board, which we will at that point. And then my last little bit of the deck is 4 copies of Marineford from OP16. It has an on-play of looking at the top 5, grabbing a Navy-type card and adding it to the hand. Additionally, it does have an activate main of Dawn -1 resting the stage to draw 1, trash 1. Again, filtering, trying to find the Admirals, trying to find the different pieces that you would necessarily want. It could also help us get into a slow beam. It could help us get into a Buddha Sengoku. Whatever the case is, we're going to probably find things like a Mamaragan and then we can discard things that we're not necessarily going to need during the time. So like additional Kobe searchers, or like an additional 3 Admirals event that we're not going to necessarily need to play. Anything like that, the Marineford is really going to help us, because we really want to dig for the 3 Admirals as quickly as possible so we can use leader effect on curve and on time. So here is my OP16 Purple Sengoku list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And hey, answer this question for me. Who is your favorite leader from OP16? Whether it's an old leader that got really good support cards, or a leader that just came out in OP16, I want to hear it all down in the comments below. And with that, I will leave this to you guys, and I will see you in the next upload. Peace and love, y'all.
Thanks for riding with the vibe. Cozy games every time. Pulling leaders, making plays on the line. Sailing through the grand line, strategy refined. Catch your next match, stay locked in the grind.